Hello everyone, we're here at Atlantic City in Borgata, and I've got a group of friends here behind me where I've organized a private game. I'm playing 25, 50 are the stakes, and I'm ready to go gamble and splash things up. It's the day after my birthday actually, so maybe some birthday run good is going to happen, but I'm feeling pretty confident. I've been winning on Club WPT Gold, playing online, getting my feet wet, so if you want to play some online poker, the best online poker platform in America, use code Rampage on Club WPT Gold. But for now, we're going to get into this live cash game. 25, 50, 100 straddle will be on. I'm sure the 200 potentially will be on as well. And let's splash things up. Today's game is 25, 50, 50. I'm buying in for $50,000 here at Borgata. And one of the first hands, we start off with fireworks with pocket kings in the small blind. The hijack raises to 150, cut off 3 bets to 500, and it's perfect timing to make it more. I raise to 2,000, and the cutoff makes the call. So we've got action going to a pot with over 4,000 in the middle, and it comes 9-8-5 to diamonds. Here, I start off with a larger bet as I think my hand might need some protection, and seems like a small size doesn't make much sense. I bet $2,500 here, trying to get more money in the middle, and my opponent seems to have connected as he makes the call. The turn comes a 10, super dynamic card to come. And I look at my opponent's stack. He has about $13,000 back, and I think it's time to just go for all of it. The board's super connected. There's a lot of pair plus straight draws, pair plus flush draws, a lot of hands that we can get value from. So I decide to go all in, and my opponent is in the tank. Doesn't seem very comfortable about the situation, but when he doesn't immediately snap call, it means that we are at least ahead for now. But ultimately, after a few minutes of thinking things over, we've got our first all-in pot of the night. He makes the call and wants to run it twice. I show my pocket kings. It's for sure the best hand right now. And we're going to go to 2 river cards in this massive pot to start things off. Can we hold? First river, queen. Second river, ace. Both of those cards don't actually look great, and it's a disaster. We end up chopping against Queen 9 of Hearts, so his pair improves to 2 pair on the first run out, and at least he decided to run it twice as I don't get completely stacked right off the bat. But we're going to chop off the first significant pot of the night, but then we pick up 5s in the next hand. I raise up to 150 from the low jack, and I get 3-bet from the cutoff to 450. I'm going to make the call, and we flop bottom set an ace 9-5. What a beautiful dream spot to be in. And when I check to my opponent, he bets $300. I actually decide to just smooth call and not fast play right now. So I make the call for 300, and we're off to a turn, which is the Queen of Clubs, which brings in a backdoor flush draw, and I think it's a really nice card to see. There's a lot of hands that's going to continue barreling. There's a lot of hands I can get more value from. I check, and my opponent fires out $1,200 now, and definitely on a card like this, making the board very, very draw heavy. I check raise to $4,000, trying to get all the money in the middle, but my opponent is going to make the fold. So we are at least going to scoop up the pot, but it looks like we're running pretty hot, and we're running even hotter because in the next hand, we get involved with the legendary Darren Elias. People call him the N-Boss, WPT champion. This guy has won all the tournaments in his entire Hall of Fame career in poker, and he's in my game on my direct right and raises to $200. And I pick up kings in the cutoff, an amazing spot to be in, and I 3-bet to 700. Next to act on the button, then makes another raise to 2,100. Oh my goodness, this is action central. I've put together quite the fun lineup here, and everyone's ready to put chips in the middle. And I've got kings. But what's even better is that Darren is not going to give up, and he makes it $7,000, and he covers me. I started with just a little under $50,000 in my stack, and, well, I'm not folding pocket kings, and he covers me. So my entire stack might be at risk here, but for $7,000 facing a 5-bet and I'm in position of him, I decide to just call. I don't think making another raise is smart, and you know, Darren could either have aces or kings or a bluff, which either could happen, but I'm a little bit scared, but here we go. The button folds after raising to 2,100, so we're going to go heads up against one of the best players on the planet. And here we go to a flop of Queen Jack 5. Got over $16,000 in the middle, and Darren throws out a bet of $5,000. With the flusher out there in position, I decided to just make the call. Seems like that's the easiest game plan right now. I still could be behind a lot of hands. You know, he could just have queens. He could have aces, and that makes a lot of sense. But I'm going to make the call, and we're going to go to the turn, which is the Jack of Diamonds. Brings in 2 flush draws and action onto Darren. And I've got about $36,000 in my stack, and there is about $26,000 in the middle. And he just announces all in. Oh my goodness. I would have actually been a little bit afraid if he bet small, but now facing this all in jam, I count out my stack. And here we go. I don't think I'm ever going to be folding. Sometimes maybe we could be chopping, and sometimes we're just losing to aces. But it seems like he might have a draw, and I'm not letting go of pocket kings here. So I'm going to make the call for $36,500, and it's going to make this pot just around $100,000 in the middle. This is by far going to be the biggest pot of the night so far, and he's got ace-4 of hearts, so we're not out of the woods just yet. There's a lot of cards that we need to fade on the river, and when I ask him to go once or twice, he just goes once. One river card. We got to fade some hearts. We've got to fade some aces. Let's hold. And we hold. Find the brick on the river, and I win basically this $100,000 pot against one of poker's best tournament players. And coincidentally, this pot helped me fund the 100K giveaway I just hosted on Club WPT Gold. So if you want to participate and play some online poker, splash in the online streets, sign up with code Rampage to America's newest online poker site, and join me in the next 100K giveaway. So our chip stack's looking real sexy right now. We're in for $50,000 and sitting on about 100K now, so I'm by far the biggest winner in the early goings of the night. Next hand, I got 8s with the $100 straddle on. I raised the 300 from the button, and then the straddle are 3 bets to 1,400. I'm going nowhere. I make the call with pocket 8s, and we're going to go to a flop of ace, ace, 3, 2 clubs. My opponent starts off with a bet of 700, and I'm happy to make the call. The turn comes the king of clubs, so not the most comfortable card for 8s to see, but I do have a club at least. Action's going to go check, check. And the river comes another club. Now I've improved to an 8-high flush, but it is only an 8-high flush. And my opponent bets out $2,800, and I'm not feeling rather comfortable about this spot. I got him in haw, and at the end of the day, I have to respect my opponent, who seems like a pretty reasonable pro. Maybe he can be bluffing. I call with the 8-high flush and run into pocket queens with a club. So I'm going to lose this one, and we're swinging up and down. But we pick up a premium in the next pot. We're in the hijack with jacks, raise it up to $200, and the button 3 bets to $600. I'm going nowhere, and I put in another 4 bet to $2,000. And my opponent, with about a $10,000 stack, goes all in. All right. I make the call, and we've got over a $20,000 pot brewing here. And when we decide to run it twice, he announces he has pocket 8s this time. And if there's any indicator, I don't think pocket 8 is going to win this hand. On both boards, we see clean runouts, fading the 8, and we're going to scoop this pot up here. So losing with 8s, stacking 8s the next hand. The circle of 8s keeps running around, and we're moving on with the $100 straddle on in the next pot. I've got ace jack of diamonds on the button. There's an under the gun raise to 500. Cutoff makes the call. I 3-bet to $2,500 here with a pretty playable good hand, and both of my opponents call. So 3 ways over 7,500 in the pot, and it's ace jack 4, but it's all clubs. So top 2 pair with all clubs on the board. Seems reasonable to start off with a bet of 2,000 when the opponents check to me, and both of my opponents call. So I feel pretty good about this, considering they didn't check raise me against my very small C-bet. The turn comes a 5, it's a complete brick, and when both opponents check to me once again, I throw out 10,000, and that might have been a little too big because both opponents fold. I'll happily show the top 2 pair, take down the pot, and win this one. Next, we've got straddles galore. We've got the 25, 50, 100, 200, and of course, when I'm given the option, I will put in the $400 straddle. There's a button limp for 400. Big blind raises to 2,000, and I've got ace 10 of diamonds, so really good timing to put in the $400 straddle here. I decided to just make the call and not 3-bet, and the button gets out of the way. We're off to a flop of 8-6-4. Not a whole lot going on for me. So when my opponent checks it over with ace high, I decide to check this one back. I didn't see a whole lot of merit in betting here. Seems like I'm just bluffing out worse hands, which isn't really what you want to do. So we see a free turn card, which is a 9. Pretty interesting as we improve to a straight draw. And my opponent fires out $2,400. So we've got 2 overcards. We've got a gutter to basically the nuts. I make the call. The river's 7. We bink the nuts, basically. We've got the top end of the straight. And my opponent is not going to give up just yet. He fires out $7,000 and leaving like 2,000 or 3,000 behind. I'm not sure why he did that. So I'm going to go, obviously, a little greedy here and go for the rest of the money he left back. I'm all in. He says he's got nothing and folds, so I'll take it. You know, my straight is very good. Very good run out to win here as my opponent was bluffing off his stack. And it's even better of a sight to see with pocket queens in the next hand. I'm on the button. There's an undergun raise to 400. I 3-bet to a large size to 2,000. What's amazing is that the straddle goes all in for like 15,000 in a stack, and the under the gun player also goes all in too for about 10,000, give or take. But of course, it doesn't matter how much they've got. I'm snap calling with pocket queens. This is a beautiful spot to stack 2 opponents, and it feels like a tournament as people are all in. But I've got queens. They want to run it twice. And I don't know what they've got. One opponent has pocket 6s. The straddler with the bigger stack, I have no idea what they have. But we're going to go to 2 boards, and we've got to hold with queens for a really, really big one.
Is that the right order? Queen?
And somehow, even with the ace, even with the king on the board, queens are going to win. And this is a sun run of a lifetime right now. This has been an absolute sun run of a session. We're playing reasonably small, but I'm up nearly $100,000 now on the day. My chip stack's insane, and I'm stacking everyone at the table, it seems like, and I'm really just running hot. For one of the last hands of the night, I'm on the $300 straddle, and I've got ace queen. The player to my left raises to $1,000 off of his $10,000 stack. So when he puts 10% of his chips in the middle, with ace queen, I'm going to put them all in because, you know, why not do that? My opponent snaps with what he says is a bad hand. So let's see how ace queen's going to perform. We're going to go to 1 board against mystery bad hand announced. The flop actually looks pretty good for a bad hand, but the run out does not improve him as ace queen high is going to win. Wrapping up the most insane sun run I've had in quite some time. I've shown you 9 hands. I've only lost 1 of those hands, and I've got piles of chips in front of me. I got over $150,000 as I rack up and close out on an amazing day. It's always nice to host a cash game and be the biggest winner. I've only hosted 2 games in my life, so if you want to hop in for future opportunities, follow me on Instagram, as everyone that joined in on the game found out that I was hosting from Instagram. And this was a lovely way to end the session. Just cashed out, which took far too long here at Borgata, but I was in the game for 50,000, out of the game for 151,850. So very solid day. Sun ran all day, and thanks so much for watching. More videos coming out soon. See you guys next time. Peace.